Hey guys, it's Ron and Debbie. We're back for another edition of Ask Ron, and we're on location at Paper Power in Jacksonville.
Too bad you're not here.
Okay, our first question, Ron, is from Lisa Parker, and she's from Woodstock, Ontario.
Okay.
We are Canadian, but doing our business in Michigan. Why would a seller agree to do a lease option with us so that we can turn around and get a tenant buyer? Why wouldn't they just do a lease option to an end buyer themselves?
Okay, Lisa, how about this? Why do we need realtors? Answer, because they either don't know how to do it or they don't want to do it. Same here. Most any seller can do a lot more than they're willing to do. And our job is to go in there and give them solutions. It's their job to decide whether they want them or not. I can tell you this, I got a lot of students all over North America, which includes Canada, that are doing lease options every single day. For one thing, you take the problem off the seller's back. They get debt relief, and they don't have any confrontation. They don't have to deal with people, and you can do it quickly. People are going to always take the easiest path to the end, and you just got to understand and quit asking yourself why. If you keep asking yourself why, it's going to drive you nuts, and you're never going to get anywhere. I always use in class, why do people put powder up their nose till they die? Why do people put food in their mouth till they can't see their toes anymore? Why? Quit asking why and start asking, start saying, here's what I can do, and let the seller decide what's best for them, and you quit trying to do it for them. You're not qualified.
All right, our next question is from Marianne Nunez from Garden Grove, California.
Hello, Marianne.
Ron, I know you mentioned that when you do a deal through a Roth IRA, like using $100 for an earnest deposit to the seller for a lease option, owner finance, etc., type of deal, and the profit made from the deal goes into the Roth IRA.
Correct.
It grows tax-free. Then after 5 years of an open Roth and age 59 and a half, we can take out money tax-free.
Correct.
I want to make sure I understand about tax-free, so my question is, when the profit from the deal goes into the Roth IRA, is it also tax-free?
Yes. Tax-free, Marianne, means no tax. Period. Now, there's a caveat there, or as they say in Canada, caveat, and that is that if your IRA is making any kind of an investment that comes with debt, such as taking over a loan subject to or buying it with owner financing, then it's not tax-free. It's going to trigger UBIT, which is the unrelated business income tax. So the IRA will actually pay taxes on the gain, but all that gain now grows inside the IRA tax-free forever. Which if you ever take time to do a little calculation, taxed versus tax-free over a period of a few years, you're going to be, blown away with the difference between these two numbers.
Okay, Ron, this is Shafiel Alam from Ozone Park, New York. So this is the first deal, so he's a little nervous. He says, I am a new student and my deal is an owner finance deal. Asking price is $60,000.
Right.
ARV is $85,000, free and clear. Pretty house, no repair. Seller wanted $20,000 down payment, but using the script, I talked him down to $5,000. It is a seller finance home, single family home. 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, 2,500 square feet. Again, using the script, I was able to negotiate the monthly payment from $1,000 to $650 a month. Please help structure the deal and my exit strategy. Do I use the purchase and sale agreement signed and get the deed? And what other documents do I need?
Well, I think I've already answered this question now last week. It seems familiar. For one thing, there's no way I'm going to give somebody $5,000 down to buy a house that's for $60 that's only worth $80. Because you're going to have a hard time making any money when you put a buyer in there. Secondly, if you're going $600 a month for an outgoing payment on an $80,000 house is a lot. That's a lot. Now add taxes and insurance to that, and then ask yourself, what are you going to collect for rent? And you're going to be lucky to break even. So that deal really needs to be renegotiated. But to get the deal done paperwork-wise, you need a purchase and sale agreement. And then your attorney has to create the rest of the documents, which are either going to be a wraparound mortgage or a land contract or whatever you're going to use where you're at. Okay.
All right. Next question is from Michael Grismier from Burke, Virginia.
Michael?
Say the seller agreed to a sales price of $500,000 with $20,000 down.
Okay.
And $480,000 owed.
Right.
I raise the price to $550,000 and take it to the market.
Right.
I find a buyer with $100,000 down.
Right.
Now I'll get my $50,000 and the seller will get her $20,000, but there's $30,000 left over. Am I actually supposed to ask the seller to rewrite our agreement and take $470,000?
No, your numbers don't make any sense, for one thing. You said you were going to take it into the market and get 100 down, but you only get 50. I don't understand what you're talking about. Secondly, to buy it for 500 and raise it to 550 is a little bit on the aggressive side. You're probably not going to pull that off. That's getting kind of greedy. So here's how it works. Let's say you buy it for 500 and you sell it for 529. You got an agreement to buy, you got an agreement to sell. If you're going to stay in the middle, you have to close the purchase and then close the sale. You can do them simultaneously. Then the buyer can bring in your case, if you said you're going to take $100,000 down, you can't unless you pay down the underlying loan, because there's only $29,000 difference between what you're paying and what you owe. That's all you're ever going to put in your pocket. So there's no reason for you to take $100,000 down unless you take the balance of that 100 and apply it toward that underlying debt. And frankly, if I were going to do that, I'd get some concessions out of the seller, like a discount. In other words, let's say I did take in 100 and I owed a seller 20, or I think that's what 20. Then fine, their 20 comes out of that. Your 20, because that reduces the 500 you owe them down to 480. So there's still a bunch of money left over there. So if I'm going to give them more than what I promised, then I'm going to get them to discount that debt sum so that I can put more of that money in my pocket. I hope that makes sense to you. But you cannot take money. You cannot have the buyer owe you less than you owe the seller. That would be a no-no. So you're just going to have to adjust the math. But frankly, for you to put it on the market for $529, you're going to be hard-pressed to get $100,000 down anyway. I'm not saying you can't, but I wouldn't count on that. But you don't need to. Anything over 20 is good.
Okay. All right, next question is from Clint Weir from Schertz, Texas.
Clint?
While the mortgage is being paid down during the lease option term, why is it that the seller is still being paid the full purchase price at closing?
Because a tenant buyer pays rent. That has nothing to do with mortgage pay down unless you structure it that way. The seller is paying the mortgage down. They get the benefit of the debt pay down unless you structure your lease option to where your purchase price is the loan balance plus the amount of equity they have in it when they get paid off. If you make the mistake of giving the seller a fixed purchase price, you will not get any benefit of any debt pay down. It's rent. It doesn't apply toward the debt. However, if I structure it so the purchase price is the loan balance at the time I purchase it plus blank dollars, then I do get the benefit of the debt pay down. So it's all in the way you structure it.
Okay. All right, next is from Daniel McDowell from Ohio.
Okay.
What do I do first for my wholesaling business?
You get my wholesaling course and you study it, and it tells you step by step what to do. And if you don't have that yet, you can go to ronsdollardeal.com and get it for $1. Daniel, I hope that price suits you.
That's a good price, Ron.
ronsdollardeal.com. Download it for $1 and listen to it step by step. Tells you exactly what to do to wholesale a house.
All right, Ron, our last question is from Enrique Villalobos from Arlington, Texas.
Enrique.
I'm getting ready to send yellow letters, and I've signed up with Pat Live to take my calls.
Yes.
When potential sellers call, wouldn't they get confused or turned off when they call the Pat Live number and they hear, please hold for X, Y, and Z?
They don't get confused. They know they're talking to an answering service, and our students take thousands of calls every day. Enrique, quit worrying about stuff that doesn't matter.
Okay, and he had one more question.
It's a whole lot better to get systemized, even if it costs you a call or two. By the way, here's what I learned. If they won't hang on, you're never going to buy a house from them anyway. People have a house for sale are going to wait, and it's only a couple of seconds. So.
All right, and he just wants to know also, if he's sending a yellow letter to a couple that is getting divorced, does he just send the regular yellow letter, or does he need to change it?
No other letter you need to send except the one that I've created. It goes to every kind of seller of a home. It doesn't make any difference what their personal situation is. If you change that letter one bit, and I'm talking to all of you watching, if you change that letter one iota, you'll probably destroy the campaign because you have no idea why it works. Don't change a thing in my yellow letter. Go to yellowletterlady.com and let her do them for you. She's the best there is. And do exactly as instructed. I can't tell you how many students have tried to change my yellow letter and just screwed everything up. Listen, spend some more time learning why it works and you'll understand why you can't change it.
All right, Ron, that's all we have this week.
See you guys next week. Go do some deals.